there was this moment at the beginning. We did our first what's the word? Our first scandalous concert at the ICA in 1976 in October. We decided to do a retrospective exhibition of Coombe transmissions to say we're ending the art project now. And at the ICA, you can go to this show called Prostitution and see the Coombe Transmissions project documented, and that's it. It's over. And at the opening night, Throbbing Gristle will play, which is the new project. Take it or leave it. This is the crossover point. October 1976. And that was the night that Susie, as was to be, Susie and the Banshees, before they had that group, those people, the whole crew that followed the Sex Pistols round, they all came, and the security was done by transvestite security company, that everyone was 6'2" plus, but in drag. And we had a comedian from the north of England who told dirty jokes, and we had a stripper. We had beer kegs instead of wine, and the media came and they went nuts. Now, a lot of people think the media just came, but actually, secretly, not telling the rest of TG, we sent postcards out to, we got all the different newspapers and magazines and looked for the news editors, and then sent them all these very enigmatic but sort of cheeky postcards saying, dare you come to the prostitution show kind of thing. And so they were all at the Evening Standard, the Evening News, the Daily Express, and the Daily Mail, and all of them were there, the Mirror. They all turned up to this opening, and it was the first time the mass media had seen industrial and punk and gay lib all at one place at the same time, producing music and imagery and sound that they just didn't know was going on. It was like they suddenly got this. They were given permission to see the underbelly of British culture, and it was this huge scandal. This is weeks before the Sex Pistols went on and swore, but it was part of the build-up to that. Britain was in this state of, it was almost like it was pulsing, like a boil that needed to be lanced. The culture was just poisoned. And Throbbing Gristle were the initial move in the explosion of that boil, that pus that came out. And of course, punk and the Sex Pistols were the other half of that sort of two-pronged attack on the status quo. There were questions in Parliament, and that was when one member of Parliament, Nicholas Fairbairn, called us the wreckers of civilization. And by the following day, we had a flyer out where we were we called ourselves the wreckers of civilization, and just had a cut-up of all the different press that we'd got. All this outrage about cage Genesis P-Orridge like the animal that he is, and throw away the key. Things like that. Ridiculous stuff. But it's important to realise that context, that's how ludicrous things had got in Britain in the late 70s. They were, the people were just sickened by this 1950s sanitized, sterilized suburban idea of perfection. It wasn't like that. That wasn't the dream. It was almost as if we'd had this proposition that Britain had been helped to win the war by America, so we should adopt the American dream of this horrible sterilized suburbia, which was both inappropriate and vile. And the inevitable thing, quite rightly, was that the young people of Britain first rejected it outright, and then later some of the older generations realized that maybe American culture wasn't as healthy as they'd been told.